Welcome to Rise Untold, where the stories behind the spotlight come alive. She was once the girl on every screen, the child star who grew into a teenage icon, a redhead with freckles and a charm that made the world believe in magic, in twin swaps, in teenage drama, and in second chances. But then, she disappeared, not from the tabloids, not from public curiosity, but from Hollywood itself. And now, after years of speculation, Lindsay Lohan is finally telling the world why she left it all behind. It wasn't a fall from grace. It was a choice, a bold, intentional, deeply personal choice that changed her life forever. This is the story of how one of the most recognizable faces of the early 2000s walked away from fame, fortune, and the flashing lights, so she could finally see clearly. Lindsay Lohan was born in New York in 1986. By age 3, she was modeling for Ford. By 10, she was acting in soap operas. And by 12, she was a movie star. Her breakout role in Disney's The Parent Trap didn't just launch her career, it cemented her as the next big thing. And Hollywood took full advantage, with hits like Freaky Friday, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, and the cultural juggernaut Mean Girls. Lindsay wasn't just working, she was dominating. Photo shoots, recording albums, late-night talk shows, red carpets. Every week, a new headline. Every year, a new movie. She was on magazine covers, music charts, and gossip blogs. And beneath it all, a teenager who never had the chance to slow down, because Hollywood doesn't slow down. Not for anyone. Not even for its golden girl. As she entered her 20s, things began to shift. Personal struggles, public breakdowns, arrests, rehab, paparazzi chasing her down the street, camera flashes blinding her as she tried to get into her car, her home, her life. Her every mistake was magnified. Her every step was analyzed. And her every decision became a headline. Lindsay became less of a person and more of a spectacle. But even during her darkest times, the truth was, she was trying to find her place, trying to get clean, trying to be heard, not just watched. And then, quietly, she left. No announcement. No grand finale. Just distanced. In a recent conversation that shocked fans and even her interviewer, Lindsay Lohan revealed the real reason she left Hollywood and why she doesn't regret it. "I didn't run away," she said. "I just walked toward peace." It wasn't about giving up. It was about letting go of the noise, of the chaos, of a system that chewed her up and never asked how she felt. For Lindsay, moving to Dubai wasn't a career decision. It was a survival decision. In the United Arab Emirates, celebrities are protected. Privacy is legally respected. Paparazzi culture is non-existent. There are no surprise camera flashes while you're eating brunch, no TMZ vans lurking outside your building. "I needed a place where I could breathe," she said, "where I could have a personal life, not just a public one." And she found it. Since relocating to Dubai in 2014, Lindsay's life has transformed. She married Bader Shamus, a financier she met privately, away from the cameras. In 2023, she became a mother, something she says she always dreamed of but never believed could happen in the chaos of her past life. "I used to live in a world that moved so fast I couldn't catch my breath. Now, I wake up to silence, to stillness, to my son's smile." She shared that it's not that Lindsay stopped working. She's still acting, still building, still dreaming. But on her own terms. She signed a multi-picture deal with Netflix and returned to the screen with Falling for Christmas in 2022, a warm, light-hearted film that reminded audiences of her charm and heart. It wasn't about headlines anymore. It was about happiness. And with Irish Wish and the upcoming Our Little Secret, Lindsay is proving that she doesn't need Hollywood's approval anymore. She has her audience. She has her craft. And most importantly, she has herself. What makes Lindsay's return so powerful isn't that she came back. It's how she came back, healthy, grounded, joyful, reconnected. She told fans, "I used to live for attention. Now I live for intention." She no longer defines herself by what she escaped, but by what she embraced. Dubai gave her the space to heal, to be a wife, a mother, a woman defined not by tabloids, but by her own truth. And now, she's finally sharing that truth. Not with tears or apologies, but with pride, because stepping away wasn't a failure. It was a boundary that a radical act of self-love in a world that doesn't always make space for it. Lindsay's story isn't just about leaving Hollywood. It's about finding home, not a location, but a feeling. And maybe that's what we all want in the end. Not more likes, not more noise, just peace. The peace to wake up without worry, the peace to grow without judgment, the peace to live, not just perform. Lindsay Lohan walked away from the world's spotlight, and in doing so, found her own light, the same spotlight that once made her a household name, the same spotlight that turned every misstep into a headline, every cry for help into a punchline, the same spotlight that gave her everything, and then almost took it all away. But she didn't let it. She didn't crumble under the pressure. She didn't let the chaos win. Instead, she stepped out, not in defeat, but in defiance, in quiet rebellion, in the most courageous way a person can leave something behind. By choosing herself, she chose to disappear not from the world, but from the noise. She chose silence over spectacle, healing over headlines, reality over perception. And so the next time you wonder where she went, know that she didn't vanish. She evolved, because evolution doesn't always come with a big announcement. It doesn't need fanfare or applause. Sometimes it's invisible, a decision made in the dark, a whisper in the middle of the night that says, enough. Enough pretending, enough performing, enough being what the world demands, instead of who you really are. She didn't hide. She healed. She peeled away the layers that didn't belong to her, the labels, the assumptions, the caricatures. She stopped trying to be the girl everyone remembered and started becoming the woman she always wanted to be. And that transformation, that quiet reclamation of self, that may be the most powerful comeback of all, because Lindsay's return isn't a headline. It's a heartbeat, not louder, but stronger, not brighter, but truer. She came back not with a scandal, but with a story, not with a cry for help, but with a calm confidence, not for the fame, the fans, or the flashbulbs, but for herself, for the little girl inside who once danced through movie sets with dreams too big for the screen, for the woman who lost her way but never lost her will, for the mother, the partner, the artist who knew something was waiting for her beyond the noise, and she found it. She found it not in Hollywood, but in stillness, not on red carpets, but in real moments, not in applause, but in authenticity, because the truth is, we don't always need more success. Sometimes, we just need more peace, more quiet mornings, more privacy, more chances to breathe without being watched, more time to become whole before the world watches us break. And Lindsay did what so many of us are afraid to do. She stepped back so she could step forward on her own terms. Because if she could escape the noise, if she could silence the shame, if she could find clarity in a storm of cameras, critics, and chaos, if she could look at everything she's been through and still say, I deserve peace, then maybe, so can you. Maybe you don't need to chase the version of yourself the world wants. Maybe you just need to meet the version of yourself that's waiting, quietly, patiently, beneath all the layers of expectation. Maybe healing doesn't look like a public comeback. Maybe it looks like disappearing for a while and finding home in your own skin again. Lindsay Lohan's story isn't just one of survival. It's one of return, not a return to the old spotlight, but a return to self, and that is rare. That is real, because anyone can rise when the world is cheering. But to rise when no one is watching? To rise from the ruins of your reputation? To rise not because you have to, but because you finally want to. That takes something else entirely. That takes resilience. That takes grace. That takes courage, the quiet kind. The kind that doesn't need to be seen to be real. Wherever you are, whatever stage of your journey you're in. Know this. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You don't have to stay in the spotlight just because someone else put you there. You can step away. You can start over. You can rewrite the story the world wrote for you and tell your own on your own terms, just like Lindsay did. And if she could rise from burnout, from breakdown, from public judgment and personal chaos, then maybe, just maybe, you can too. Maybe your rise doesn't need to look like hers. Maybe your healing will be quieter. Maybe your peace will look different. But if you find the strength to walk away from what breaks you, if you find the courage to rebuild, then you've already begun, because real strength isn't loud. It's not loud at all, that it's the whisper that says, I'm not done yet. It's the steady breath that says, this time, I'm doing it for me. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm ready to rise. And that is Rise Untold.